Hi everyone and welcome to the inaugural episode of 3-Minute Snippets. Now if you've ever wondered what electric charge actually is, today is your lucky day because over the next 3 minutes I'll be trying to explain exactly that. Now electric charge is an idea that's used to explain how certain types of things move, or in other words, the forces that exist between certain types of objects. Now to explain these forces we need a little bit of history, which takes us back to 1785 when Charles Coulomb came up with his first memoir on electricity and magnetism. He noted that it was an observed fact that these particular types of objects were either attracted or repelled by each other. He formalised his findings in Coulomb's law, which states that the strength of this force is proportional to 1 divided by the square of the distance between the objects. So how do you know whether the objects will attract or repel? Well, the answer is to make up some rules with 2 types of charge, which have come to be called positive or negative, but they could be called anything at all, like Jim or Jimmy. Now these rules mean that like charges repel and that unlike charges attract. You can also get a little bit more complex and attach a number to each type of charge and say that the bigger this number, or the bigger the charge, then the bigger the force between the objects. Now, although these rules are pretty arbitrary, they work really, really well. If we take the classic example of an atom, that's to say a positive nucleus surrounded by negative electrons, we could have said that the charges were the other way round. In other words, a negative nucleus surrounded by positive electrons, or even a Jim nucleus surrounded by Jimmy electrons. But once you decide what is what based on your experimental observations, you've got to stick with it, or else things get enormously confusing very quickly. So because the idea of charge works so well in describing the forces between certain types of objects, scientists have come to assume that it's a physical property of matter. Whether it's really, truly intrinsic or not is a matter for philosophers. All of this can lead into something of a circular argument. If we have 2 balls which are attracted to each other, the answer to why they attract is because they're charged. But then the answer to why they're charged is because they attract. So if we really want to answer the question, what is electrical charge, we can say that it's a way of attaching meaning to behaviour we see that would otherwise be completely incomprehensible. Without the idea of charge to give structure to our theories, we'd probably still be attributing the invisible forces between charged objects to witchcraft or demons, and the modern world simply wouldn't exist.